Here is to powerful women everywhere. Today I'm doing the booktube community joy and gratitude tag, and this was created by Book Chat with Pat, who is indeed a very powerful and influential woman. So happy to see her channel taking off and doing so well. I also saw the answers to this tag on Jen's channel, Literary Love 123. Hey Jen, I got it right this time. Another video I kept saying literally. I don't know why that was stuck in my head. But in any case, I was also tagged by Pat, and I watched this on Jen, and she encouraged others to do it. And I figured we could all use some good news and giggles, so here I am. The prompts for this tag are joy. Let's be grateful to the people who make us happy. They're charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. That's by Marcel Proust. The first prompt is, name an author whose books bring you joy or discuss a specific book that made you feel joyful. I had a hard time selecting because reading for me is my happy, relax, think about something else time. Although there are certainly some books that tend to agitate me now and again, and I put them aside. So the books that I did select for this, the first one, and I have mentioned this author before, is Julia Cameron and the Artist's Way. Now this is a special collection. This is the Complete Artist's Way, Creativity as a Spiritual Practice. I've done the Artist's Way a couple of times. I enjoyed it. It's 12 weeks. You read a little bit. You have activities to do. I don't do the morning pages that she talks about. I did when I first went through the 12 weeks. I gave it a try, but my journaling process is a bit different and effective for me, so I stick with it. But I do really like her artist date and the other activities. This collection also includes Walking in This World and Finding Water. I haven't worked through either of those yet, but I certainly plan to. If you've seen some of my recent book haul videos, I've also picked up 2 other activity books by Julia Cameron and other authors. I've also picked up her Prosperity Every Day. I love this. It has the beveled edges, and it's just an open and thought of the day type of book. So I really enjoy her writing. Another type of book that brings me joy that may seem odd to other people are reading ghost stories. This is one of the collections I have. I've recently put a picture of my one shelf where I have all my spooky books. This is the second Terrifying collection. This is by Joel A. Sutherland. These stories all relate to Canada, but I read stories from all over. I like reading them because it isn't just about the ghost story, it's about learning about other people, other times, history. To me, there's just so much more to getting cozy, having comfy jammies or a top on, and reading something spooky. So those definitely bring me joy as well. Those are 2 of the picks. Like I say, I could have made a whole video on which books, and even then it would be crazy long. Prompt number 2, discuss something about booktube that you find joyful. For me, it's been making friends and meeting people from all over the world. It's lovely to get messages and updates from people. I use Voxer, I have email. It's just a nice treat to be able to make those connections beyond watching videos. I also enjoy watching the different channels because we all read different things. So it's nice to find out about different authors, different books. I've joked with Kat over at Ginger Bibliophile a few times on thanking her for saving me some time because as she's talked about the book, I'm like, yeah, I'm not reading that. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Of course, the other side to that is finding books to check out. So thanks to Leslie at Books, Purrs, and Gurs, I just got my copy of The Five the other day. I'm looking forward to reading that. So I enjoy watching the different channels, hearing what different people have to say, and learning about different book genres. Some I don't read, but I still enjoy watching some of the videos. It's just a great experience. I'm really glad that I found the booktube community in January. Next, we have friendship. Kindred spirits are not so scarce as I used to think. It's splendid to find out there are so many of them in the world. That's Louise M. Montgomery, Anne of Green Gables. I loved reading Anne of Green Gables as a kid. It was just a wonderful series of stories. I enjoyed them. And I definitely agree. Maybe that's where the words kindred spirits came into my vocabulary. And it's always a pleasure to meet those types of people. And to me, it doesn't mean that we agree on everything. It means we can connect and have discussions about a variety of different topics. And it's okay to agree to disagree. To me, that's what a kindred is. So, prompt number 3, discuss a book that focuses primarily on friendship. Now, again, there are a number of different books I could have picked, but I decided on Marked and the entire House of Night series. I just did a summary of the 12 books in this series. Basically, if you haven't read it, it's the Hogwarts of vampires, except the entire series goes over the course of one calendar year. So it's a much quicker time span than the Harry Potter novels, which went over a number of years. But throughout it, we see the importance of friendship, standing beside each other, trusting each other, and sometimes, even when our main character doesn't treat her friends very well, they're still there and supportive. Some of the events that happen are very big, and I find it hard to believe, particularly for teens, being able to just pick up and move forward from that as quickly as they do in this series. But there are a lot of good things to the series, and like I say, it definitely speaks to friendship and standing beside each other and certainly helping each other out when the going gets tough. Next, we have laughter. There's nothing like deep breaths after laughing that hard. Nothing in the world like a sore stomach for the right reasons. That's by Stephen Chbosky from The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I definitely agree, and my new little handle of the book murderer, along with Judge Noah, certainly speaks to that. It's been a lot of fun between Noah creating a tag, I made my little movie. Laughter truly is the best medicine. Prompt number 4 is discuss an author or a specific book that makes you laugh. The author for me is James Finn Garner, and I now, again, thanks to my awesome hubby, have all 3 of the collection. He bought the first 2 for me years ago as an anniversary gift. As you can tell, we don't really do serious stuff. So I have politically correct bedtime stories, modern tales for our life and times, as well as more politically correct bedtime stories, once upon a more enlightened time. These crack me up. I love the old fairy tales. And in here, I mean, it's the different spelling of words. So instead of person, like Person, it's Persun. We do not have witches in these stories, they are Wiccans. So it just, I mean, even talking about it makes me laugh. These are from 1995, and the other thing that makes me laugh is in the introduction, the author talks about they may be politically correct for 1995, but he didn't really expect that they would be politically correct down the road. And I'm willing to bet if there are some people who read them now, they would certainly disagree with some of the things that he said. But they're good for a chuckle, and I've made a few videos about these stories. I may do a few more. The third one in this series is politically correct holiday stories. So I will be reading a couple of these in December. I've already read through them, and just like his other books, it's certainly not the fairy tales that you will see Kat reading over at Ginger Bibliophile on Mondays with the pups and sometimes JB. Be sure to check her out for those readings. Along with these books, Kat cracks me up because the commentary with the stories is always hilarious. I look forward to those Monday uploads. Next, we have Community. We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us with our fellow men. That was by Herman Melville. So prompt number 5, discuss a book where the idea of community is important. When I was watching Jen's video last night, I immediately thought of The Giver. And I'll have to add the title of the author. And I've just recently read that as part of the banned book project, but I'd also read it when I was working in high school. We didn't cover it in class, it was just something I'd read on my own. But that story really speaks to one person making a huge sacrifice so the community can have a peaceful existence. If you've read the story, you know what I mean by that. It's, even if you don't agree with the choices that this particular community made or how it came up with them making this decision, you can't help but respect the giver, because while they're dealing with what they have to deal with, the rest of the community is moving forward, progressing, and in their way of thinking, it's a very peaceful, no war, no difficulty existence. So personally, no, I don't agree with the way the community runs, but it certainly does speak to different ideas that people have to avoid things like crime and war and trying to come up with solutions to that. Another book that speaks to community is The Celestine Prophecy. This is by James Redfield. It's a parable, and I enjoy parables. This is about 9 insights on an ancient manuscript. It's found in Peru. This relates to community because it speaks to everybody on the planet, as in the community of humans. Everyone working together, raising their vibrations, and supporting each other and moving forward. I very much enjoyed this. Number 6 is discuss a communal reading experience that you have had. For me, that was 23 years working in schools as an educational assistant And if I wasn't working on literacy with small groups in public schools, I was in English classes in high schools because I worked at both levels over the course of my career. I very much enjoyed the English classes. It was wonderful to have discussions with the students, hear their viewpoint, what their takeaways were from many different stories. I mean, we read Mitch Albom's The Five People You Meet in Heaven. We did The Stand. We did Crab. Very much enjoyed that book, and one of my favorite quotes ever is from that book. It has to do with our character Crab, and he has found someone in the woods named Mary who has taught him how to survive and take care of himself. He's debating about whether to head back home or not, and he's not sure whether he can do it without her. And her response is, the best compliment that you can ever give a teacher is, I don't need you anymore. Meaning you've taught them the skills, you've given them the confidence that they can then move forward with their life. And I loved that quote. It's cute because I had a number of students tell me that after. One actually wrote it on a sticky note and signed it. And no, it wasn't an insult, it was a compliment. And I'm so thrilled that those grads have definitely moved forward and done very well for themselves. So, no, I don't take credit for that, but I'm glad that I got to be a part of that journey with them. Gratitude. I can no other answer make but thanks and thanks. That is William Shakespeare from Twelfth Night. It's funny, I just mentioned Shakespeare a few videos ago because I just picked up King Lear during one of my book hauls, but it's kind of cool that that would be one of the quotes for this tag. Number 7 is, name a book in which a character demonstrates real gratitude, or name a book that left you feeling a sense of gratitude. Again, I have a couple for this, and it's kind of neat. This one also has beveled pages. The Magic of Believing. This is by Claude M. Bristol. And yes, it is funny because I also just mentioned Claude in my War of the Worlds special on October the 30th, because he was around the same time as H.G. Wells. Claude served during the war, but unlike H.G. Wells, who was crushed by the events of 2 world wars and shaken that humanity just wasn't going to be able to pull it together, Claude came out the other side of it, even with what he experienced and went through, believing that the individual can certainly make a difference. The Magic of Believing is about focusing on yourself, believing in yourself, continuing to move forward, and staying focused on your goals. I've read this now 3 times. It's probably time to read it again. Each time I go through it, I get something else from it. It helps remind me about focusing on things that are going right versus thinking about obstacles and I can't possibly get over them. I very much enjoyed this book because one of the people who makes a comment in support of this book is Phyllis Diller. If you know who that is, then you're probably close to my age, but she was trying to break into a very male-dominated career, and she said she'd read this book and it was a big part of what helped keep her going and move forward. And I thought, you know what? Phyllis did pretty darn good for herself. So, although my goals are not to be huge famous, I have found this book to be very helpful to remind me about gratitude, my own focus, and my own thoughts as I move forward to achieve whatever it is the future holds. The final prompt is to tag people. I'm going to leave this open. That's right, Janie, I'm giving you a break because I know you have a ton on the go between now and January. If you're watching this, I would enjoy hearing your answers to this tag. Be sure to tag me in it so I get a notification from YouTube and I can come and watch your answers. It's always a pleasure to see the different responses that people have, whether it's just the comments that they share or the books and the authors that they talk about. Until next time, remember to keep smiling. It'll make people wonder what you're so damn happy about, especially these days, and take good care.